Welcome back. This is Michael Brown with the KHTS News Team, and we're here with quite a large crowd for you. We've got Sergeant Shoemaker, we got Deputy Acosta, we got Shirley Miller, all with the Santa Clara Valley Sheriff's Station, and we've got Carrie Lujan with the city. Carrie, during this little break we had, we were talking about the traffic safety team. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So back in 2016, we saw a 75% increase in pedestrian-involved fatalities within the city. In response, the city teamed up with our sheriff's station and formed the traffic safety team. And we're focusing on the 3 E's, which is enforcement, engineering, and education. So as we were talking about earlier, our sheriff's department is working on proactive enforcement. We have more motor deputies out there on the streets. Shirley and I are working on the education portion of it, pushing out information on the Heads Up campaign. And we also are teaming up with the city's engineering department to see what kind of engineering enhancements we can do to make the roads safer. Whether it's additional protected left turn lanes, we have the pedestrian blank out signs at several intersections in the city. The one that I see most frequently, because it's by City Hall, is the one at Valencia and McBean. And you can see that it actually puts up a lit up sign that shows people that pedestrians are crossing and to wait and expect them in the intersection.
Yeah, and they've got one of those over, I think, at Bouquet and Newhall Ranch, if I'm familiar with that, too. Shirley?
Basically, I was just going to piggyback on what Carrie was saying, that really it's teamwork.
And speaking of that teamwork, Sergeant Shoemaker, can you tell me a little bit about what the Office of Traffic Safety, or OTS, is doing to help out with this?
We receive, or the Sheriff's Department in general receives grant money from the Office of Traffic Safety to do specific types of enforcement. Our department divvies that money up to the different stations, and our station gets grant money to do 4 different types of operations: DUI saturation patrols, bicycle pedestrian safety, motorcycle safety, and we call PCF, which is primary causal factor enforcement, which can be really anything that causes collisions. They go out and then do enforcement looking for those types of violations.
Gotcha. Now, Carrie, you mentioned earlier, and it's actually a perfect segue into what we want to talk about next here, pedestrians. And now in 2016, you saw that rise in pedestrian, collisions, pedestrian-involved collisions. Just in Santa Clarita alone in 2019, we've already had a couple fatal collisions involving pedestrians, unfortunately. Maybe Deputy Acosta, you can answer this better. What does that look like? I know we talked about the statistics of the motorcycle collisions going down. What about pedestrian collisions? Are they going up, going down, staying the same?
So same thing as the other one. Our pedestrian collisions are down. Last year was a year to date. We had 26 at this point, and this year we have 19. So it's down a little bit. And year to date, as of the 30th, we have 1 pedestrian fatal, and I think we may have had 1 more after that. I'm not too sure.
No, we've had 1.
So it's just total is 1 as of now. Same thing, just it's all about drivers being visualizing the road, paying attention to the road, and same thing with pedestrians. Maybe make eye contact before crossing when you're out late at night, wear bright clothes, and just be careful with the vehicles.
Now, so that's some preventative measures, but Sergeant Shoemaker, could you maybe tell me why, what may lead up to a collision involving a pedestrian, maybe some factors?
Well, it's a matter of 2 different. Either the driver's not paying attention to an intersection they're approaching, or around a school, something like that, or it's a matter of a pedestrian that is either crossing in the wrong place. The 1 pedestrian fatal that we've had this year, the pedestrian was intoxicated and walked out into traffic. So impairment is a factor there. So it's a kind of a combination of the 2. It just weighs one way or the other regarding the collision. Trying to get specific on them, but pedestrians at night, they need to either stay visible, wear bright clothing, reflective clothing, use the crosswalks, don't try and cross on a really dark area of a street. The city, I know on Sierra Highway was a huge issue in 2016 with our fatal pedestrian collisions. The engineering office has added traffic lights, just not traffic signals, but the roadway lights to light up the roadway all up Sierra Highway, I think almost all the way to the border of the city limits. So there's a lot of different variables.
Yeah, and I just want to add some of the main messaging from the Heads Up campaign for pedestrians. Like I said earlier, use the crosswalk. That's available to you. That's the safest way to get across the street. And drivers should expect to see people in the crosswalk. When they're approaching one, they should slow down, they should check, and then they should check again. And disconnect from distractions. Put down the cell phones, like Shoemaker was saying. Don't put your makeup on. Don't eat. When we launched this campaign in 2016, there had been, I think I said there was a 75% increase. Following the first year of the campaign, pedestrian-involved incidents had dropped 42%. And in 2017 and 2018, we didn't have a single pedestrian or cyclist life lost in the city. So that's something that's really impressive and that we're really proud of, and we want to keep that going. Of course, we had the tragic accident that Shoemaker was addressing, but we just want to remind people, use the crosswalk, avoid distractions.
Exactly, and I'm glad you talked about the Heads Up campaign, because it seems, just from talking to you guys and from prior experience, that once you guys instated that campaign, the Heads Up campaign, and then also the traffic safety team back, it seemed around the same time, 2016, is really when this all started to decrease and things started to get better for motorists and pedestrians, bicyclists, motorcyclists. So I'm really glad that you're here talking about that Heads Up campaign. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. We'll be talking about bicycle safety. I'm Michael Brown with KHTS.